Well, hello, welcome to Top Dice. We've had a week off, but we're back with full strength. And hello, Alan, and hello, Phil.
Hello.
Hello.
So, what a couple of weeks they've been, I would sort of say. I'll go with you first, Secg. What's been going on in your world?
Well, I've been enjoying introducing Alpengard to people, including yourselves, so that's been a blast. And also chit-chatted with Vicky and Dean of Everray Games. I know they're working on Untold Destiny, so that's been cool. And then developing my own projects in the background, connecting with people with D&D podcasters and introducing them to Alpengard, so that's been a blast. And then also just seeing projects that other indie designers are just have on the burner. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Quite busy. Well, Alan myself obviously did end up surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, actually playing Alpengard the other week. But we'll come to that in a few minutes. Alan, how are you?
Good. Good. Yeah, busy. We're really deep in the trenches now for preparing for UK Games Expo. So logistics and marketing and big banners and little banners and all that kind of stuff that is going to go on around UK Games Expo, and being obviously sales and marketing manager for GMS, a lot of the marketing stuff is on my plate.
Head plate rather than plate, I would say. But I'm looking forward to actually seeing it. Well, to start off, unfortunately, this bit of sad news that we received the other week. Jody Black,
Mm.
unfortunately, has sadly passed away. So we're dedicating this episode of Table Talk to her. Um, I know you've spoken to her and had quite a bit of contact with her, Alan, over the years. So
Yeah. I mean, with being an Ace license for Pinnacle and having a licensed Savage Worlds setting, you kind of you drop into that sphere of dealing with dealing with all of the Pinnacle folks, mate. But then with working with GMS, a big part of Jody's role was coordinating Kickstarters and things like
yeah,
that. So worked quite closely with her to get a lot of that kind of stuff done. So yeah, lots and lots of contact with Jody. Sadly, sorely missed. But I think my takeaway really from Jody passing away is that she kind of chose her own path,
yeah,
because she had this really debilitating lung issue disease, and she, in the full knowledge that her kind of time was up, she made sure that everything that she did after she passed was to do with help with the research and all of that kind of thing.
yeah.
And I don't think there are many of us that actually get to choose when we go, and how we go. Jody did, and fair play. So yeah, if I had a glass, I would raise it to the crit fail queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, she will be missed.
That was a lovely set of comments. That Al, thank you very much on that one. She was big in the non-profit side of things. She freelanced. She was a writer. She was an editor, production lead. As you said, she ran an online shop. She organised conventions. The list goes on and on. And she was an accomplished singer, I believe, as well as soprano. So,
Mhm.
um, and she was very much at one with the religion too. So,
Mm.
yeah, I think you're 100% right in everything that you said there. But yeah, Jody, you will be missed,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit of a darker world without you. But your
And
legacy lives on.
Gamma as well. We should
Yeah,
mention that her work with Gamma. My last interaction with Jody was literally a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. And her sort of encouraging GMS to get involved with Gamma and things like that. So yeah, yeah, as you said, sorely missed.
and are you going to get involved with Gamma, or can we not say yet?
No, ultimately we will. It hasn't happened yet because there are lots and lots of other things going on. The business has grown so much over the last 2.5 years. It's unbelievable just what we've achieved. And so yeah, we do want to go that way, definitely. We want to get involved with more of that, but we also need a bit of a consolidation period of just we've got to this level and we need to make sure that we can maintain that before we push further.
Good
So
planning.
yeah, lots of things going on.
Yeah, definitely. It's I know you're really busy, and you took time out the other week to have a quick online game. First game that we actually sort of got together. Really enjoyed it. Run by Mr. Benson there. So thanks very much for that. Alpengard D30. Not what we expected. Well, we knew it was D30, but
I've got a character sheet here, in fact.
so I've got mine just to one side as well. So there you go, lasting memories of it. And we will be hopefully continuing. Well, we'll definitely be continuing in some way, shape, or form going forward. And I know Allan said he'll jump in when he can. But yeah, looking forward to seeing some more of the world. I did love the world that you actually sort of created there, by the way. That was very detailed. Very detailed
Thank you.
indeed.
Yeah, and thank you guys for playing.
And it made me ask so many questions about what was going on, and that was a really good thing as well. So that's a credit I would sort of say to you, GMing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of mysteries there that we didn't have time to solve, investigate, or follow through with at all in any way, shape, or form. But they definitely went like, okay, right. So this in, right, fair enough. Okay, those birds up there, what are they? Yep. And oh dear, there's a tree trunk chewing on my leg. But yeah.
I figured that would be a good blind side for you guys, and I wanted to give you in the opening session used to just get you used to the skill encounters as well as the combat encounters, just so you can see the system in action and the storytelling. And obviously, there's a lot to be revealed about the world, but I figured that it'd be nice just to throw some things out there, and it's good to know that it left that sense of mystery in your heads and that you can enjoy coming back to it.
That's it. Well, one more. I think that's the best way to put it. And your friend that joined us, very enigmatic and quite a character himself. So thank you to him as well. And moving on, as one thing we're going to discuss today, role-playing games, systems, etc. One thing I'm going to bring up and mention is all of a sudden we've had an explosion of Moorcock games announced. We've had DCC, which GMS do. They're doing an Elric game, I believe, which is going to be quite exciting. It's a long time since we've seen an Elric game going, and then bang, Free League come and go, hey guys, we're doing Stormbringer, and it's just like, wow. They're like buses, British buses, these.
Yeah, nothing for a long time, and then at least two come along together. Yeah.
Well, I suspect we might be seeing more as well, because obviously it's but two, I would sort of say, quite different systems there. Very different, I would also say, to the original Stormbringer and Elric series from Chaosium and later on from Mongoose. When they sort of dabbled a little bit in on that side with the Hawkmoon, etc. But quite interesting, I would say, all round. And I must admit, I'm quite excited about that too. Probably the DCC one for me, rather than Free League, interestingly. But again, each to their own, I suppose.
So I remember playing Stormbringer when Games Workshop had an edition. So it was the Chaosium edition game, and obviously it was the very familiar, what we now call BRP, isn't it? So, and I don't know what it was. I found it a bit dark and a bit
gloomy. Yes.
Yeah, I just thought, well, okay, if I'm going to play that game system, I'll play RuneQuest. It's more fun.
Yeah.
So, um, but then the whole maybe I was a bit young, a bit naive. The whole anti-hero thing was maybe not my scene. But I'd certainly take a look at it again, either in either guise, really.
It's well, I enjoyed the books. I wasn't a huge fan. I'll
I
throw that
haven't read
out
them.
straight away. Um, some were they were very easy reads, or I found them to be very easy reads anyway. They were quite thin, and they'd been. I'm probably going to get crucified for this. A couple of them sort of read as if they'd been written on the back of a fag packet in the pub on a Saturday afternoon. It was that sort of uh, that sort of session. I should say cigarette packet actually for sex. Yeah, um, yeah. It came across as quite simplistic, disjointed, and just didn't flow. Some of them, and others they were just absolutely gripping. It was a very strange bunch of writing. I think that Moorcock actually did, and then we had Hawkwind as well with the Chronicles of the Black Sword
You mean
and Blue.
Hawk Moon, wasn't it? Not
Yeah, and
Hawk Wind was a band formerly featuring Lemmy, wasn't it? Or have I? Or was there a Hawk
I
Wind
think it
as
was
well?
there's Hawkwind was
All
the
right,
Hawkwind the
I will
band.
shut up.
Hawkwind the band was a progressive rock, and Moorcock was a member.
Right, okay, I will consider myself
So
educated.
yeah, not all the time, just for a period, but yeah, it came up with quite a lot of really sort of I don't know, it was prog rock, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you come across Hawkwind at all, Segs?
You know what? I haven't. Unfortunately, I'm ignorant on that one. But
No, it's a very unusual British band, I think.
okay,
And it was very much, but definitely worth a listen to.
okay.
The but also on the more cockier music, we've got Blue Oyster Cult as well. They did a couple of tracks from memory. So he sort of crossed the barrier quite a bit all round. And quite interesting. But yeah, so looking forward to the Stormbringer Elric stuff. That's all good. And crossing the line again to the other side. So the adapting of role-playing games to different systems. Now we've got Alpengard, which is a D30. Savage Worlds
Mhm.
is one we're sort of thinking I'm going to sort of mention because of Jody anyway. We've got GURPS, but Alpengard, that's very much the book you've got there is very much a setting, and it's sort of built in to that. However, after playing Alpengard, I'm quite sure I could take those rules very easily and place them in a traveller-esque setting or a steampunk setting. Steampunk, I think, would be very easy. Or even a Star Wars style game. There's some things that cross my mind with Alpengard. So, what are thoughts about cross-genring games? Do you do it?
Definitely. Yeah. I'll have to consider it for down the road. Obviously, I designed Alpengard specifically for the fantasy genre, but you could absolutely just switch up the technology and the damage tables to include whether you were going with something in a Mad Max style or a full Star Wars. Absolutely, you could pull it off. The Numa system would feed right into a Jedi style system, and yeah, convert the monsters to aliens, and you're good to go. You could absolutely pull it off. So I'm
Yeah,
all for
Definitely.
that
that
sort of
Numa
thing,
system would really work with something like Star Wars.
Yeah, that was my
for
take on it
sure.
straight away. It would be a very, very good fit. Science fantasy. So
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
that's a bit of a credit again to yourself and your design there.
Thank you.
Savage Worlds. Well, Alan, yeah, you could talk for hours about Savage Worlds, I think, couldn't you?
Good, and I often do. Yeah, the so you have to remember that. So Savage Worlds was born out of the original Deadlands RPG. So that that was the very sort of nucleus of the Savage Worlds system.
Yeah,
And what I love about it is that it's swingy and everything, because it's a die step system. It's no level, no class, and you design and you have the character that you want all the way through that character's progression. Because if you've got a D&D character, or everybody knows that I'm a big fan of Castles and Crusades as well. The thing is, when you've got a level-based system, you know what that character is going to be like all the way through. So, and what their capabilities are going to be. Whereas
yeah,
when you've got something like Savage Worlds, you can literally turn that character around over the space of a few
yeah.
advances, as they call it in Savage Worlds. You can completely change how that character operates and what they do. And I love that, and I love the exploding dice that if you roll a six on a d
It's one of my
on a
favourites. Yeah,
d6, you
yeah,
keep going. And I've had that. I've had discussions, but one of my friends in particular hates that kind of system because he doesn't feel that the lowest of the low should be able to potentially take down the mightiest of the mighty. And I say, no, that's exactly what makes it good.
yes,
Because even
For
if
sure.
you're a 20th level fighter in D&D and you come up against 6 goblins, it's usually a case of hold my beer, I'll deal with this. And but if you come up against, if you're an experienced fighter in Savage Worlds and you come up against 6 goblins, you're like, right, I need to be careful here,
yeah,
because if these guys gang up on me and one of them gets a lucky shot, I'm done.
yeah.
Um, so I think it knocks that complacency out, and what that makes for is a better role playing experience, because
Totally agree.
every encounter matters.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, Savage Worlds. I love things like the hindrance system. I love bennies. The fact that you get the little, you get a benny for so that a luck point, or whatever different systems call them, but you have a hindrance, and if you play to that hindrance, the GM should give you a benny, and then you can use that benny later on because you've stuffed a roll, and you want to just push it and try that little bit harder or something. And I just love things like that. It gives you a lot more agency as a player.
agreed. And also, I think it makes it better for the GM as well. I'll be quiet, but some go, no, it's definitely not because they catch me. Well, it's not about catching on unawares as a GM. You're there to sort of cover the key points of the game, aren't you?
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
push the story through as well when it
Yeah.
slows down a little bit, keep things rolling. And something like that can, you know, rolling your four-sided dice, getting a four, then getting another, and doing that say half a dozen times. That
Hmm.
that can make for some sort of epic.
Oh,
You
it
know,
does. Yeah. Without a
all of a
doubt.
sudden,
Without a doubt.
that trait that's usually your worst. All of a sudden is the one that saves the day, and people are talking about it for weeks later.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
gamers, and remember that time when crit 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 crit, and he got 120 using his four-sided dice.
Yeah. Yeah. And people say, oh, Savage Worlds is one of those systems where you can one-shot the bad guy. Good.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
good.
It's
it
rich.
is. They can also
Yeah.
one-shot the player
If they
character.
if they want
That's the
if
flip
they
side
get to
of
the
it.
end
Yeah.
if they get to the end of an adventure and they one-shot the big bad, they've done everything right. And
Yeah,
they should not be players characters should not be penalized if they've done it right.
no,
If
that's it.
they get to the big bad end guy, they make a good plan and they one shot that character, that big bad end guy. Happy days, well played.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's basically it. It's well, some of the funnest games I've actually had have been Savage Worlds one. I think mentioned Pirates of the Spanish Main.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. That's an absolute classic pirate. It's probably the best pirates RPG I've ever come across,
I'll,
and
I'll have to
I've
I'll
had a
have to
few.
get you into a game of Section D.
Oh, Section D
because
as well.
that's
Yeah.
just bonkers.
Yeah.
And it was designed to be. So,
Yeah.
Sedge, I'm going to ask you a question, if you don't mind, sir. If you
Yeah.
were going to develop Alpengard for a setting or a genre, if that was your
Mhm.
next project, what would that setting or genre be?
I think I would go, and this is actually something semi in the works, but actually humans only, because I love the difference. It would be still fantasy. I'd probably go ancient. And I love the differences among human cultures, but when you're in a world with orcs and elves and things like that, the differences among humans can quickly fade away.
Hmm.
Whereas if you
Good answer.
focus on just one folk or ancestry, in this case, if you Shelks, which are the humans in Alpengard, you do that, you can really bring out those cultures and develop them and appreciate the differences.
Hmm.
So that's definitely been on my mind. Is just sometimes I remember somebody once said that constraints breed creativity. And yeah, and on the one hand, oh, I can only play a shell, a human, whatever system you're doing, but at the same time, that forces you to put that creativity into it. And I love what you gentlemen just said about the element of risk, and what you enjoy about Savage Worlds is just you don't know how it's going to go,
Hmm.
because the scales could tip really, really quickly based on some good rolls. So
Yeah.
completely agree with you guys for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah. Good
Okay.
or bad roles can actually really change, and it really does make a difference. And one of the things that I've started doing with D&D, which is probably going to really upset some people, is I do on damage dice use exploding dice there for good and bad.
There you go.
Um, with the new system, you tend to start off with quite a lot of hit points rather than just the one or two hit points that a magic user used to start with back in the day. They
Hmm.
can end up with 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 hit points. And yeah, that's a bit heavy for me.
Yeah,
So
your magic user needs to be squishy, especially the first few levels.
they make up for it later on. And it just makes everything scream risk a little bit more. And it's great when they sort of do it. So they've got the criticals as well that they can actually sort of do. So it just
Mhm.
adds a bit of extra to it. And the thing that did it for me
Absolutely.
was when I did a bit of archery and I saw the damage a bow could do to a piece of 4x2,
Yeah.
and it just did 6 damage back in the day, and it was just like, well, max of 1d6, and it was just like, you know what? You get it by that with someone who's got a bit of pull behind them in that bow. It's just going to go straight through your armor, is that, and out the other you and out the other side if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Um, or certainly go in
The
very, very
longbow
deep and do a
is,
lot of damage. Yeah. Um,
yeah, the longbow is almost a gun. I mean, let's be real about it. If you have a 200-pound pull weight on that thing, it's going to go through metal, or at least thin metal.
yeah,
And yeah, there should be that element to it
it,
for
it
sure.
will be. Well, Agincourt was a great example of
Mm.
the damage that it could actually do and the rate of fire that could actually be sort of brought to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
As in clouds and clouds and clouds of arrows, and the range as well. You're quite right. It was almost like a rifle, and
Mm.
it, it, I've just been reminded of the more recent Robin Hood movie actually there with the repeating crossbow that's done like a machine gun at the beginning of the movie when
Is that the one with Taron Egerton in it?
yeah, it is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's more like
This
a
one.
Call of Duty game at the beginning. The way they do it, it's almost as if they've got cams on their their armor and they're running through ruins. And the snipers picking them off or trying to pick them off, etc. Very well done, very
Mm.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace from a historical point of view, but you know
Yeah.
what?
Well, who cares? Yeah.
That's it. The entertainment value was so high on that. It was,
Do you
but
know, right? I'm going to throw this in here now because we're talking about entertainment value and things like that. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day, and it was about historically accurate movies about the Roman Empire or set within the Roman Empire, and ranking movies that were more the most historically accurate. Gladiator was up there, was reasonably high. Do you know what was in third place? The
True.
Life of Brian. And
Fascinating.
and but basically it said that
Yeah.
what it was saying, sort of story aside, the way that they actually depicted Judea at the time, and the attitude of the Romans, and all of the different rebellious factions and all of that kind of stuff that was going on was incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
And I just,
Fascinating.
Life of Brian finds yet another way just to make you laugh,
That's it.
which is brilliant. And now I'm going to go back to the arrow thing because, right, so here's the thing, going back to sort of arrows and role playing. Now, when we played Alpengard, I don't recall any of us actually using ranged weapons. We just kind of drew swords and got in there. But we all, I think, well, certainly you and I, Aid, maybe Sedge is far too good looking to be old enough, I think. But we remember those really crunchy role playing games where, I remember, well, RuneQuest, you could have an impale score, couldn't
Yeah.
you? With RuneQuest and other games whereby, if you hit somebody with, say, a spear, there was a table and a roll for how deeply did that spear go into your target. With systems
sure.
being that crunchy
Yeah.
and things, what gets damaged when it goes in here, Aftermath, with its D1000 hit location tables and things like this. And we don't
Yeah.
want that anymore, do we? Role
No.
players don't want things like that. So your arrow does a D6 or a D8 or whatever. And we keep it quick and we keep it sort of fairly simple and we keep damage a bit more abstract and that kind of thing. So where is the balance point
Yes.
in a role playing game? Do you know the one that I think might have actually got it fairly good was probably Rolemaster.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because that had a balance of it could be fairly quick, and you just did damage, and then at some point you were going to do a hit that was a critical hit, and then you had a table, and then that table for piercing weapons or whatever really did sort of say, right, this is what's happened to this particular character. Or then and the 60, if memory serves, I think if you rolled a 66 on the crit table, that was the bad one. And I'm pretty sure there was a crit result for either arrow or thrown dagger or something like that, where basically the thing just went in one ear and came out of the other.
That's it. Yeah.
Um,
And you die. That's it. You look amazed and die or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Um, so
It's yeah.
it's one of those things. It can be done.
For sure.
But okay, Sedge, Alpengard. Let's go back to Alpengard. How does that work with things like that? Is it just a case of roll the damage, or do you have something in there whereby an arrow, for example, can actually do some serious damage rather than a few hit points?
For the
There's
most
no
part,
wrong answer, by the way.
yeah, no. It's the grit. I do have the exploding dice in my damage avalanche
Yeah,
concept. And so, yes, it is like that, but also because there's an impaired and traumatized threshold in the grit, which is the equivalent of hit
yes.
points, you start to take penalties.
Mhm.
And you gentlemen
Yes.
have just incentivized me to create some extra tables because I happen to know the creator of Alpengard, so I can get away with this sort of thing. It's just to throw some things online that, hey, because I have optional rules in the game, especially you'll see them in Chapter 9 about how to unfold combat. And yeah, so you can just put it out there and say, hey, if you want, you roll a critical hit and you want to throw some extra things in, like you're slowed because it assumed your leg has been virtually shot off with an arrow, whatever. I can absolutely work that in. And in the
Great.
meantime, game masters are welcome to wing it. There's no reason that couldn't be brought into the
Excellent.
system.
It's make sure you remember us in the credits when you get it out there, mate.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. No. So
yeah.
appreciate you guys for
Actually,
sure.
Warhammer Fantasy role players got that kind of thing going on as well, where hasn't you? Where you've got the hit point attrition, and then when you get to a certain point where a hit takes you below 0 hit points or something, that's when you roll on the critical table
Yes.
to see what's really happened.
Yeah.
A Savage Worlds does a very similar thing as well. You get a certain number of wounds, and then once you go over the over the fourth wound or something, that's when you start rolling on a table to see a bit more about what's really happened. So
Very
I
cool.
like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Call of Cthulhu as well, really, with the sanity and that side. You get when hit points, you get to a certain point, and bad things happen.
Oh, I remember losing a character in the first 15 or 20 minutes of a session, um,
Do you go
because I
insane?
crit failed a SAN roll.
Okay.
And I'm one of those that I will write. I'll do a backstory for a character, and because I enjoy it because it helps me to visualize and to actually play that character at the table. I like to do a bit of a backstory. So I've done all of this, and I've made this character, and literally 20 minutes into the session, sees a deep one. It's the first kind of supernatural thing ever seen. Right, says the GM, sun roll, please. Yeah, 00. Okay.
That's it. You're on
But
your
again,
way.
element of
Yes.
risk, right?
Your character is now capable of saying this. And that was it.
Yeah. Well, at least you're able to say that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
God, this. I think this is one of the pure joys of role-playing games. The various different things that can come to play, and you can't anticipate. No matter how much as a GM or a player, you cannot anticipate what's going to happen as soon as you sit round that table and you pick up a dice and you roll it.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's for me, one of the absolute sheer pleasures of role playing. That
Absolutely.
being in character as well, etc. But actually explaining away what that role was that you just made, what was the effect, what happened.
Hmm.
And yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
And I think one of the things I love with crit fails is, and this is something that I think has come along fairly recently in games, is crit fails. And do you know what? We've spoken about Jody Black, and she was called the crit fail queen for a
Yes.
reason. The double ones were a big thing for her. Um, but the fail forwards idea. Um, so it's like, right, okay, you've crit failed, and it's so instead of it's just a case of right, your sword breaks or you fall over or something like that. It's like, let's do something to say, right, with Savage Worlds you can spend a penny and you fail forward.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing I really like because that encourages role playing and a
Yeah.
bit of imagination and thing and that sort of stuff as well. So
Repercussions. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And it's good.
No
it
doubt.
is. It's good. It's fun. It's memorable as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah. It's
Especially
it
when players are willing to. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. The things you can actually sort of do on that side. And I know with the Indian one of the first games I played, role because I tended to be the DM. That I actually sort of played. I got a crit failure, and I was playing a wizard, and it was at first level, and I accidentally fell on my dagger. Roll for damage. I got 2 damage, and it killed me.
So what were you going to say, Sedge, about players?
So
Oh, I was going to say it's nice when players are willing to go with those crit fails. I mean, because
Yeah.
I remember
yeah,
as a youngster playing in the 80s, yeah, I wanted to stay alive, and there was always that incentive to just try to resist it. But now, having many decades later, you stop and think, okay, this is fun. And if I lose my character, so be it. Or I just do some good role playing by the fact that I'm virtually completely incapacitated. That's not a bad way to go, and it makes it more memorable,
yeah.
Hmm.
as opposed to just being invincible and wading through people.
It does, and it adds, I think, to the storytelling, and also it becomes quite memorable. It's hey, do you remember the time when Segs actually did, and recounts what actually sort of happened, and this happened. This is what actually was the outcome of that, and it's just like yeah, good
Mhm.
moments. I think is the and interesting memories that you take away with you forever. Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think we'll see about bringing it to a close. We've had quite a chat there. We've gone
Oh,
again.
do we have to? 5 more minutes.
No, I'm afraid. No, 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 no. We'll bring it back next week. How's that?
All right, thanks.
So we'll be back next week. So I'm going to go and raise. Well, it's not a glass, a cup of juice to Jody, and yeah, very sad.
Well, you've reminded me that I think somewhere downstairs in this house I have a bottle of Lafroig, and I think I may well pour myself a wee dram.
Yeah, definitely. Well, gentlemen, have a really good rest of the week. I'm planning on getting this out. Hopefully, it may be Thursday actually that I finally sort of get this one actually out there. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us, Secg. Thank you very much for the
Yeah,
Alpengard game the other day as well.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was good.
Thank you guys.
Hopefully you can join us for some more Alpengard, and also possibly take part and try some other fun stuff as well. We'll try and get some of these actual plays up on top dice so other people can enjoy our disastrous attempts and my disastrous attempt to role play anyway.
You guys were great. Thank you both for playing Alpengard. We'll look forward to it, and always a pleasure to hang with you guys.
Thank
it
you
was
very
good
much.
fun. It was
Right.
good fun.
Okay, well, it's goodbye from
Right
them.
on.
And it's goodbye from him.
It is indeed.
It's goodbye from me.
Keep rolling the dice. Bye.